I'm searching out these fancy bottles and everything because we want to impress the doctors, and I'm tasting half of it, and it's disgusting to me. I'm like, yeah, Bob, this is good, right?
Right.
And I got tired of lying. I got tired of I got tired of lying. So you know what? There has to be something better, and I'm gonna make it. And so I had a little something saved up. You know, I had my piggy bank together. So
Right.
I'm like, okay, this can't be hard. I quickly learned. Uh, Money sometimes it don't really matter. You need those connections.
Right.
So we started searching for distilleries that would actually contract with us to help us make the liquor that we wanted to start with. And we were getting turned down left and right. Like, you need a bigger budget. Who are you? Like, are you
Right.
a celebrity? Are
Absolutely.
you an athlete? Questions that I didn't even think, I'm like, what are you talking about? And we ended up finding a small distillery in Iowa that was like, yeah, we'll help you. And I was like, I don't know anything about whiskey. And it was like, all right. And with that relationship, we started working on my mash bill for my whiskey. It took us about 6 or 7 months to get where we wanted to go. And that was that. We were off to the races.
Wow. I love exactly what you're saying because, first of all, you said we were turned down, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Just up front, we're turned down.
Yeah.
What made you keep going? Because many people get turned down,
That's right.
right? They stop.
Yeah.
They stop.
Yeah.
I've gotten turned down 2 or 3 times. I'm stopping. I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah. I mean,
The consistency going forward.
Real simple. I mean, that's growing up in Alabama. That's grandma and granddaddy. Like,
Yeah.
You don't stop until it's done. You know what I mean?
Right.
And grandma tell you rake them leaves, you start raking the leaves
Right.
half of the day.
Right.
Now a lot of people didn't grow up like that,
Yeah.
but we did. And yeah, I was determined because it was something that had to be I had seen it before.
Right.
You understand? And so when I see something, it's hard for me to believe that I can't achieve it.
Right.
Because it's been done already. There's a million different alcohols out there. I can have one.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you have to keep asking. And we asked a lot.
Yeah.
And we heard no a lot.
Exactly. Exactly.
And then we got the yes, and even the yes was just the first part of it, right? Because then you have to take the time.
Right.
That's when I saw whiskey lifestyle is the thing. That's one of the patience is one of the things you have to have.
Right.
As a whiskey lifestyle, because it takes time for those things to mature in that barrel anyway.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And whiskey itself. Why whiskey? Not vodka and gin and all the others, right? And something like that. Why whiskey?
I like whiskey. I mean, simple answer, right?
Right.
But that's and I was gonna do a sake first. Okay, because I was gonna be the first black man with a sake.
Right.
And I had a friend. Her name is Stacy Thomas. She's a wine broker. So I reached out to her. I was like, "Hey, I want to do a sake." She went crazy because she had actually just been trained in sake. And so she was like, "Oh my God!" And she sent me about 30 different sakes to try, and it just wasn't something I could drink every day.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I couldn't it was good, but it wasn't something I come home from work like, hey, baby, give me one of them sakes. It just wasn't something that you could walk in the house and do. So I couldn't let that be my first product. You know what I mean? So I went with what I knew and loved, which was whiskey. And plus, our folks drink whiskey.
Yeah. They do. They drink whiskey.
And they was going to quickly let me know if it was good or not.
Right. And then now cigars are out, right?
Yeah.
Our new huge phenomenon about cigars.
Okay. Yeah.
And the whiskey.
Look.
Just blew up.
Crazy. And these are actually fermented in our barrels. So they take our barrels, they cut the tops off of them, they drop the cigars down in, they vacuum seal it. So they absorb all the flavor and stuff from the barrel. They are amazing.
They're amazing. The cigars are amazing. They've been in this incubator. What is it called?
It's called fermenting.
Cool. Yeah. Cool.
And we're one of the only people that do that with our cigars. We don't inject them or anything. You just actually are getting the essence of guidance when you smoke one out.
I see this guidance that you got on here. How did we come up with this name, buddy?
Oh man! So the name is a nod to our ancestors and those that have come before us, man, in any industry, in anything. Like even the other brands that might not even be minority, those people put in work
right,
to get where they were. And even like me and you are doing today,
right.
we can always offer a bit of guidance to each other. So that's where the name. Now the shirt is different. The shirt is because my mom won't wear anything that has whiskey on it. So she said, you got to create me something. So we create, these are called our definition tees.
Right.
And it's infinite wisdom that enables excellence.
And she's like, I'm not going to wear I'll wear the guidance. I'll wear the word.
I'll wear the word. But baby, I ain't wearing nothing with whiskey on that.
Shout out to Mom. I got you, Mom. I see you. I love that. We were looking at the fact you've done so many things. Background in IT, helping you with this also? Or how so?
Yeah. I would say, yeah, that was because when I graduated with that degree, there weren't any jobs.
Right.
So we had to make something. We had to make something out of nothing. But I think getting a degree at Tennessee State University, that process there is what you'll see has lasted longer for me personally.
Right.
Even outside of the academic degree, that life degree that I got from Tennessee State is still prevalent in me today. Right.
Well, you're in the heart of TSU. You can't say TSU. This is Texas Southern here.
Oh, y'all got the other TSU. No disrespect.
No disrespect to us.
The Tennessee State University.
The Tennessee State.
Let me do that. The TSU. How about that?
Okay,
Okay.
Let's talk about the business side of this whole thing.
Yeah.
You could put a marketing group together. You can put the actual product together.
Yeah.
But many times we, as a race, miss out on the business side.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We put a lot of our funds in there, our savings, our friends' savings. We have a lot of investors. But in the return, the concept of the return of it and what return means. You know, we want microwavable. We want you put 5,000 in.
I'm rich tomorrow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Uncle Larry calling you every day. Where my money at?
Hey, what's going on with that? We good out there? We good? I saw you was on the Cam Hill, so we good out there?
Right.
Yeah. Man, yeah. So that's one of the things that I work hard to actually teach people about and be real transparent about, because it's something in this industry I've had to learn. I think we were talking about it, like out of all the businesses I've had, this is one where I had nobody to lean on, no expertise, or no path to follow. So we've been piecing this together, and I've been lucky enough to partner with some good accountants and some good attorneys that understand the law about it. But like you said, the actual business, the day-to-day of it is totally different. So one of the things when you get to the whiskey industry, it's no longer expensive to create a product. When I was starting about 5 years ago, people weren't really talking about contract distilling. Like that was a kind of a taboo thing. Now it's popular. Like you go to a distillery, and maybe COVID changed some of that too, right? You go to a distillery, you say, look, this is what I want. This is the money I got. They say, okay, cool. That doesn't take a lot of money. Marketing the product is what takes most of the money. Right. So it's never getting to the first thing. It's making sure that Cam Hill hears about it. And all these other people. Absolutely. And that can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Absolutely. Many times we don't have that with us. We don't have that marketing. We build it. We do the product. We're wearing it. We got family members wearing T-shirts. We got the family members drinking the whiskey or whatever. And then the family, we got so many family. Then they're like, you know what, stop. You know? And most of the time we got to give family that.
You gotta let them try a little something. Yeah. We do have a more, I think this culture now is we're better about it. We're not great at it. Yeah. But we're getting better at it. We're not being so absent-minded when it comes to the choices that we make. Right. Because I always hear people talk about our buying power, but it's not power unless you use it. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. If you never cut your lights on, you ain't using your power. See what I mean? Right. So I think we have buying ability. Right. Only when we come together will we make it power.
That's it. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. And then the other things, getting it into stores, getting it into clubs, getting into, places where people are going to be drinking.
Yeah, that's tough. And before you do that, you have to get a distributor.
Right.
So that's one of the key things as well, that first you have to get a distributor, because liquor is a 3-tier system. So I can't legally sell to a club or a bar.
Right.
I have to sell it to a distributor. Distributor sells it to that bar, that liquor store, that restaurant, and then they sell it to you. That's a 3-tier system.
Right.
All right. So if you don't get past step number 1, you can't get to
Right.
2 or 3.
Right.
And a lot of that is largely controlled by not minorities.
Right.
So that is a huge step. But now we're seeing more minorities create their own distribution companies. Like you have Legacy in Kentucky, and then you have Disbelief, they're out of Memphis, and you have another lady out of DC that are starting their own distribution companies that are helping minority brands be able to at least get step 1 done.
Exactly. The other thing with the distributor, now they have a lot of liquor to distribute.
Oh, yeah.
How do we get them to distribute my liquor? You know what I'm saying? They got all this liquor.
They got everything. That's
right?
Big bucks. Yeah. So.
And then I bring my liquor here, and they say, Cam, you got $2 now. Let's see.
So you got to come with demand.
Yeah.
And so that's where that power, like even me being in Texas right now, we don't have distribution here.
Right.
So we're here and we're meeting with restaurants, we're meeting with owners, and we're doing tastings to get them excited about it, so we can go back and say, hey, these people want it.
Right.
And they'll say, all right, cool.
Absolutely.
So we looking at Texas for that.
Exactly. And really getting it out here, right?
Yeah.
Getting it into the places where people drink. Yeah. Getting it into the places, and people really knowing black owned, not black owned, wherever. It's whiskey. People can sit down together and unite over drinking, over the cigars, over the, just the lifestyle of doing it.
Yeah.
And it's grown.
Yeah, it's all relationships and collaboration.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the things when you look at the brand, that's one of the things that we wanted to inspire is people don't get a chance to sit down and talk to each other much anymore.
Right.
And hear each other and learn from each other. But if you have a sipping, because we're sipping whiskey, you'll notice you open a bottle of guidance, that conversation gonna start. And as that bottle goes,
yes,
the conversation goes. And then somebody else will come in.
Right.
And we've just, it's a really great thing just to see camaraderie around a drink.
And it's a great conversation piece there.
Yeah, it is.
If you're talking about the whiskey, just like you were talking about, how to get started, many of us don't know. We don't know. In our mind, we may want to do different types of liquor.
Yeah.
But in our mind, we don't know who to call, what we need to do, how to get started.
Yeah.
And if we do, many times we lose out because we don't have guidance, like you said, right?
Yeah.
And navigate through it.
Yeah, and that's what so we always tell you, email us, info@guidance.world. Tell us your story. We'll pass you to the right people to get you started, because we want more of us in this industry.
Absolutely. And liquor is a huge industry.
It is billions of dollars.
Right.
But contrary to popular belief now, there's not a lot of margin in that product. Okay, so for all my business people who like big large margin products, liquor is not it. Depending on what you choose, you're looking at somewhere between $7 to $14 per bottle.
Per bottle. The whole bottle.
The whole bottle.
$7 to $14 per the whole bottle. Net.
Because remember, 3 tiers.
Yes.
So I got to sell it to him. He got to mark it up, sell it to him.
Right.
They got to mark it up and sell it to you. Yeah.
See, family? Do you see that? You see that? So look at when you go out.
This isn't get rich quick. Okay, this is a legacy play.
Right.
For us, and it's a leverage play. Right. So sometimes when you're getting into businesses, if you look at all the ones that I've had, some of them have been for different reasons outside of making money. Maybe you get into an industry because it's popular in your city. Like if you look at Nashville,
right,
it's one of the hubs for healthcare.
right.
I have a healthcare company. It's a hub for nonprofits. We have a nonprofit. It's great for hospitality. We have something that links us to it. So every business doesn't always have to be about, the business has to make money. That's
Right.
not, but sometimes we use our businesses for leverage to get us into different rooms,
Right.
to do different things.
That's good, and I'm glad you mentioned that because you are a business strategist on all types of businesses, not just with liquor, not with just medical, but a strategist of business, of anything. If somebody comes to you and says, hey, I have some music I want to get out there, I want to do this, or I want to do that, you know music, you know?
Yeah, I've done a lot of things.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of things. And I think, I mean, in any of my OGs will tell you, like, what people are learning from is my mistakes.
Yes.
That's really, if I had to take what the strategy
Yeah.
was, I'm gonna tell you what I did, but most importantly, I'm gonna tell you, what I messed up on,
Right.
so you can avoid that.
Absolutely.
And that's the guidance that we're giving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But that's the best thing. You know what I'm saying? By telling each person, all of us are sharing that. Most of us don't share that.
Why don't we?
I don't know.
What?
We don't share that part. We just tell you about the success.
Right.
But we never tell you about, oh, that didn't work, the failure, this is what happened to me, this is what this, and then we end up repeating it. Others repeat that same thing.
And then we give a vision that isn't accurate.
Right.
I thought about that the other day. We received an email from a distributor that turned us down. That said, no, we're gonna go in a different direction. No, thank you. And I started to post that on Facebook so that people would see that, even because we are one of the fastest growing liquor brands, but we still get told no.
Exactly.
You know
And that's
what I
what we need to see.
Yeah.
That even in the process, you know what I'm saying? Even while people see you successful,
Right.
you still have the no's coming
You still
through.
have the nose, and then guess what? It didn't feel good.
Right.
You see what I mean? So
Yeah.
I couldn't act like, oh, okay, it's whatever. No, I didn't like to hear that. But what am I gonna do now?
Right.
And that is the thing that will start to separate you. Because we went back to the drawing board.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So
Sounds good. We'll take a break and we'll be right back on the Cam Hill Show.
To the Cam Hill Show after these messages.
Move up at Ron Carter Cadillac. Drive the new 2021 Cadillac XT4 Luxury Collection for only $319 a month. The new 2021 Cadillac XT5 Luxury Collection for only $399 a month. Both for 39 months lease with just $1 down. Or purchase either and enjoy 1.9% APR for 60 months plus bonus cash. Gulf Freeway, just 2 minutes south of the Beltway.
Shop smarter when you shop Ron Carter. Ron Carter Cadillac.com.
My prenatal promise is to make sure my baby is safe and healthy, because I know it is possible to acquire syphilis, HIV, or other STDs without knowing it. Getting tested is my very first chance to protect my baby. Doctors are required to give expectant mothers 3 separate tests for syphilis. If you're pregnant, ask your doctor if you're being tested properly for syphilis and other STDs. Congenital syphilis can lead to a miscarriage, stillbirth, or an infant death. Don't risk your baby's health. To find out more, visit myprenatalpromise.com.
Have you heard about Hero Go TV offering free TV?
And now back to the Cam Hill Show.
Hey, we are back with Mr. Jason. I wanted to read something about him too. I didn't earlier. He is known for cultivating partnerships while providing inventive solutions and expanding business capabilities. He's a millennial millionaire with unparalleled experience, creating career roles for convicted felons, offering cutting-edge resources, chiropractic solutions, and recently product managed a pain management system used to combat the opioid crisis. I wanted you guys to know that about Mr. Jason because he's so much more. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, man.
Can you imagine all of that within your years?
No, I wouldn't never thought. But it's everything was based on helping other people.
Right.
You know, one of my first company was a cleaning service, and we used to employ probationers on it. At that time, people in Nashville, I think the minimum wage was like something that you couldn't even pay your rent off of.
Right.
So I started this company with a friend of mine, and we would employ people that had convictions and stuff, and we would pay them above minimum wage.
Wow.
Because when you're trying to get out of a situation, having more resources.
Right.
But one of the reasons we created that is because when we looked at the jobs that they were telling the people that they could get, there was actually a list. And when you get out of jail, you can call this list, and they'll help you. So one day I just called it. I just called all the numbers.
You called it.
I just called it, and I wanted to see the responses that people were getting, and a lot of the numbers didn't even work.
Wow.
Some of them were, hey, I'll pay you $4 an hour, take it or leave it. Some of it was, yeah, I'm gonna pay you, but then you're gonna pay me half back. There was all kinds of things going on, and I was like, how's that we telling these people this is where you can go for help,
right? And
it really wasn't help,
right?
So we had to create the help.
Wow, I love what you just said about that because, like you said, we have to create the help.
Yeah, because we think. It's easy just to think that someone else is taking care of it. If I had never called those numbers, then I would have.
You thought they were working. You thought sure that minimum wage at least. You thought they had plenty of jobs.
You just don't want to work. You just don't want to do anything. But no, sometimes you got to dig a little deeper if you want the real answer.
Right.
And when you find it, I think people don't dig for it because then if you know it, you're responsible for it. Because after I found out the numbers didn't work, it became, okay, now what are you going to do?
And after I started reading your story, let me just tell you something. I said, Royalty, shout out to her, connecting us together. That's my creative director. She just she was persistent. She was like, I want him on. But I read your story in the sense of, it was, Martin Luther King said it best. Life's most persistent and urgent message is, what are you doing for others?
Yeah.
You have done so much for others.
Yeah.
Just putting us first as a people over and over again, saying it's got to be better. It's got to be the best. We got to do this, you know? And I love that about your story.
I appreciate it. That's that only child syndrome, I think. I grew up as an only child and only grandchild.
Oh, wow.
So that the people that I meet along my journey become my brothers and my sisters.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's not just surface with me. It's always deeper than that. And I've always believed that families were put together, whether biologically or people that you meet, but I believe that families have purpose. Like God just don't align you with people to go through years without there being something that you were put on this earth to accomplish. So in linking with people, it's good to know you, but I'm sure after this moment, there'll be something that we'll accomplish because this wasn't a happenstance.
Absolutely.
So I always seek out what is that. I'm curious about, okay, now why did I meet this person? And what can we do? And so we just call it collaboration.
Absolutely.
And that's important because in a collaboration, you're bringing something and I'm bringing something. And we're putting those things together. It's not me trying to get from you, or you trying to get from me. See what I'm saying? So that's what makes that different, and that's how we've been really successful.
And we talked about that earlier. We were talking about Black Wall Street, you know, back in the 1920s or so. The Black Wall Street was there. But the thing about it, they didn't have the technology we have now.
No.
They didn't have all of.
They didn't have the distractions. They didn't have the distractions we had. Yeah.
And they depended on each other.
Yeah.
Not every, Whataburger's not worried about Burger King not worried about McDonald's. It's enough for everyone, and I just don't think we've capitalized on understanding that.
Yeah, you're right. They depended on each other.
Yeah.
That's a difference.
Yeah.
That's a big difference, and I think I've asked this question probably over the last few months, right? When I started seeing all the things, I have family in Tulsa,
right? So
I've known about that story for a very long time. Mm-hmm. But then I've also, like my son, his barber is still on Greenwood, still on that street, Mr. Sales.
Wow.
So I've gotten time to spend time down there and hear the stories,
and actually see it,
and hear the men talk about really what it was, and it was an ecosystem.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There wasn't a for self, it was a for us.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what we're going to have to really embrace again.
Yes.
Before I think we'll see that.
Right.
Or it'll just be, you got some rich people over here, some more rich people over here. That's not Black Wall Street.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That's not a flow through.
Right.
That's what we need for that to sustain.
I like what you're saying about that, because I was looking at it and I was saying, how could we make more millionaires? More of us being millionaires.
Yeah. Intentionally is how.
Mm-hmm.
Intentionally is how. And that's one of the things that for my keys to success, or what I measure my success by, is how many other people I make successful.
Right.
So I'm never out of place standing in a room with billionaires,
mm-hmm.
because I know that I've helped people make 6 figures and on their way to 7 figures.
Right.
So that's the crown that we wear.
Right.
That's the one up to us, is that not only are we successful, but you see all these people around you.
Right.
We paved the way for them, which means, and the only thing we charged them was for them to pave the way for the next person.
That's what I wanted you to say.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted you to tell people about what you actually do as far as that's concerned. Not just your whiskey. Yes, it's the whiskey lifestyle, but you've helped so many other companies in their liquor journey.
Yeah.
Maybe not whiskey, vodka, gin, whatever, but in their journey to get there.
Yep. And we give them all the information for free.
Wow.
All of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not everybody's role or vision or whatever, but that's ours. And I remember starting. And I remember going through my bank account.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I know that feeling. If somebody would have been there taking for me at the beginning, I might not have even made it this far.
Right.
So my job is to help as many brands get into this market as I can, right? Because we safer in numbers.
Right, we are safer in numbers.
We safer in numbers, and you walk in the store, and a lot of people don't understand. This is me just being transparent.
Yeah.
If some of the bigger guys come in and say, well, if you keep selling this, we're not going to give you this. Well, then guess what? If you buy yourself, you out of there.
Right.
But if you stand in with another 10, 20 brands that are doing well, and they try that, well, then your brothers and sisters say, nah, they stay. You know what I mean? There's the power that we were talking about. So we're going to help as many people get into this thing as we can.
And now that we say Black owned, right?
Oh, yeah.
Ownership. Many times we're part of it, but the ownership of it.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because even with the brands that we help, I don't own any of their brands.
Right.
And that's one of the questions that I always get, like, oh, I see you talking about this vodka. You own that? Or I see you talking about this tequila. Oh, do you own that? And I was like, no, they own that. That's for them. That's for their family.
Right.
That's for them to pass down from generation to generation of their family. But we can make money together.
Right.
I don't have to own your brand to make money with you. And so that's one of the strategies that we use, and that's why we call it Guidance Family, because we have all come together by design.
Right. And I'm glad you said that, because then you said, when we first were talking, you said, okay, this is my whiskey, but This young lady, they own vodka, they own gin, they own tequila, they own this, they own that, and they're black owned.
Yeah.
So guess what? We go into the store, we get the whiskey, we get this, we get that. We're gonna buy it all.
Whatever you want to touch, and be proud of it.
Right.
And that's one of the things. Like, bring the pride in yourself of drinking a product that you know is owned by somebody that look like you.
Right.
Make that feel good about that. And the products are great. Like
they are.
We didn't ask you to drink nothing that was nasty and say it was good. But show the love to these products the same way you show love to things that had nothing to do with you. Right.
And the other thing too, I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't drink whiskey. Buy it for a friend. Get it as a gift. Give it away."
Yeah. And also the way that I look at it, when you buy any of those brands, you know what I'm saying? When you buy Timeless Vodka and you here in Houston, you contributing to Amber and her husband. They have a special needs daughter. Wow. You see what I mean? Like the story, when you buy Twisted Sisters wine, it was four young ladies that started it. One of them passed away last year. They still take some of that money and put it away for her son. Like, the stories of these things that we're doing is so much bigger than standing there with a bottle in your hand. Right. You're supporting the stories and the people that have really are cultivating. This is the freshman class for the United States. Right. This is the freshman class
of the United States.
Of these.
Yes.
So
400 plus years later.
Come on now. And we just now getting into this.
Exactly. We're just now getting into this. We're just now. Yes.
Now, we've been doing it for a long time.
Yes.
But now we're doing it on a scale, I guess, where it's broad. Because, black people have been making whiskey since we got here. So.
But not in the store.
But not in the store. And so now, this is what we got to do.
Right. Yeah, we've been making it. Yeah. But it's just not in the store.
Just not in the store. What our name on it.
I love that part of doing that. We also were looking at the fact of you being in Nashville doing this.
Yeah.
Most people say you've got to move, right?
Yeah.
You got to go to Atlanta, LA, New York, or somewhere else, some other big city.
Yeah, Nashville, man, is where it's at right now. And I've been to all of those other cities, right?
Right.
And they have their own vibe to it. But right now, and I say it's like right now, Nashville is becoming what it's going to be for the next 100 years. Like, it's Crane City, and it's on fire. If you are an entrepreneur, you got an idea, if you show up in Nashville, you can actually smell the opportunity.
Wow.
Like, you drive around and you just look, because everything is so new.
Right.
Everything is new. They've built, hundreds of buildings just during COVID. So the whole landscape of the city
During
COVID.
So while people were at home, while it was closed down,
they were building.
Nashville was building.
Nashville was building. Now the question is, were we building?
You might have to say that for all the people in the back row.
The question is, were we building?
Right.
What were we doing?
Yeah.
And a lot of people in Nashville, they got on it.
Right.
They got on it.
Because
but a lot
this is our
didn't.
new normal. This is it.
This is what it looks like.
This is what it looks like now.
Period.
So this is the time. Whatever you want to do, whatever you've been thinking about doing, whatever you have envisioned and had dreamed, this is it.
This is it. And because you can always go back to what you were doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can always, whatever you're doing right now, you can always go back to that.
Right.
But if you feeling that thing in your spirit that just keeps pulling you and you're uncomfortable and you just don't feel right, it's because you're supposed to be doing more.
Right.
So you gotta take the swing.
I'm glad you said that. You're supposed to be doing more.
Yeah.
We're in our comfort zone.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because it didn't take a lot to do it.
Right.
Think about it. What do you really have to do? I mean, and now with social media, you can do it from your house. Like, go in there, all right, I'm good.
Right.
But nah, we were meant for more, man. We're meant for more.
Wow, meant for more.
Mm-hmm.
And now that we have the freshman class, we've got another class coming.
We do. The sophomores are getting ready. Man, and they are tenacious, but they need the guidance.
Right.
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 Because they have their connected to a different part of society.
Right.
And so we have to usher that part in. But we also have to take the wisdom of those that are older than us and combine those things. And that ball is what we will use. Picture like if you bowling, that's the ball that'll be able to knock down all the pins. Right. It's got to combine
absolutely
with everybody.
Well, I love the fact that you're now taking 4 to 5 years, 6 years of all of your experience, where now we'll cut down people to 2 years or a year or so.
Yeah.
You know,
the last 2 guys took them a year and a half.
A year and a half.
A year and a half. It took me, like I said, almost 3 to 4, year and a half.
Absolutely.
And after this year, we'll be cutting that time in even half.
Wow. Just with the experience, just understanding and navigating.
Just knowing who to call, who to pay.
Right.
Where to stay away from, who not to pay. That's one of the things that even with having money, you still got to know who to pay.
You got to know
who to pay. Or you won't have money long.
Exactly.
There's some lessons learned. There's some lessons learned, right?
We know that.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's still people out there.
Yeah.
They'll tell you something. They'll give you that dream.
Oh, yeah, they'll sell you the dream.
They'll sell you the dream.
They'll sell you the dream for sure.
And then they'll be gone.
Super gone. And I hate that because we're taking away from the people that are, like, I have a big heart for small business owners. Right. I got a big heart for small business owners because the minute you are a business owner, everyone thinks you're rich.
Yes.
And they start to treat you different.
Right.
And they stop checking on you. They stop caring a little bit. You know, maybe sometimes they'll even steal a little bit because they think, oh, you got it.
Right.
So I come along and I talk with them. I see what's really going on. I see how they are using their savings account to fund the business and how that's affecting their marriage and their relationship with their kids and stuff like that. So I have a big heart for those guys. So I always try to uplift them to keep going because this is the backbone. Right. Small business is the backbone of the community.
It is.
It's always been, really.
It always has been. It always has been. Now COVID hit, let's just think. The end of February, beginning of March, how did that affect you?
Oh man,
your business.
That was a gut punch.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, that was a gut punch. When we started, we're a craft whiskey, so our target was on-premise locations, which is high-end bars, high-end restaurants
that are closed.
You see what I mean? So we weren't concentrating heavily on liquor stores in the beginning. We were getting these restaurants because I figured you can try it in a cocktail. There's so many different ways to interact with the brand. Well, you wake up in March and that's completely gone.
Hold that thought. We're going to talk about it. We'll be right back on The Cam Hill Show.
To The Cam Hill Show after these messages.
Move up at Ron Carter Cadillac. Drive the new 2021 Cadillac XT4 Luxury Collection for only $319 a month. The new 2021 Cadillac XT5 Luxury Collection for only $399 a month. Both for 39 months lease with just $1 down. Or purchase either and enjoy 1.9% APR for 60 months plus bonus cash. Gulf Freeway, just 2 minutes south of the Beltway.
Shop smarter when you shop Ron Carter. Ron Carter Cadillac.com.
My prenatal promise is to make sure my baby is safe and healthy because I know it is possible to acquire syphilis, HIV, or other STDs without knowing it. Getting tested is my very first chance to protect my baby. Doctors are required to give expectant mothers 3 separate tests for syphilis. If you're pregnant, ask your doctor if you're being tested properly for syphilis and other STDs. Congenital syphilis can lead to a miscarriage, stillbirth, or an infant death. Don't risk your baby's health. To find out more, visit myprenatalpromise.com.
Have you heard about Hero Go TV offering free TV?
Now back to the Cam Hill Show.
Hey family, thanks so much for coming back. Mr. Jason was just briefing me. We were just talking about COVID, but you've got to hear this. You've got to hear about the fact that with COVID, remember that everything is shut down, right? Mm-hmm. Everything's shut down at this point.
Yeah.
Your restaurants,
bars,
entertainment facilities,
done.
No conventions, no nothing.
No, nothing. And it was from one day to the next, right?
Yeah.
So it was not a ramp up to that. It was like, hey, we closed.
Right.
And we think we're going to be closed for 2 weeks, a month, 3 months, 4 months. So we had to pivot.
Right.
And we had to go and start patronizing liquor stores really, really heavily, right? And that was a race because all the big boys was targeting the liquor stores too.
Right.
So that's when our relationships came in handy. Had a lot of people that had relationships at liquor stores that we were able to just to get in front of and talk to. Let them, the product speaks for itself, but they still have to make space for you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So how do you get off the bottom shelf and get up to where people can see? I think we did 55 tastings in the later part of 2020.
Right.
And all liquor stores like taste this, to get that out, man.
Right.
And
then you got to get people to come out of the house.
Oh yeah. Well, they'll come to the liquor store.
Oh, well, that's true.
They'll come to the liquor store. They'll come to the liquor store. But they ain't staying in there long. And I'm standing there saying, hey, you want to taste this? From behind a man, like, you want to taste this, right? So it was very tumultuous, man. It really was. But
because at this point, it's a month, 2 months, 6 months. This is a year and a half.
Yeah. It's crazy. And I gotta say, nothing but the grace of God. Like, the Father's Day started helping. We also sell online as well, so that was another pivot, right? Get up online. We're in 44 states.
Okay.
You know, but in stores we're in 10 states.
Right.
But online.
Online, you just we're at home.
So I'm talking to people everywhere now.
Right.
But think about it, people don't buy liquor
online.
It wasn't our natural thing, or if they do, they buy what they already know.
Right.
They're not trying anything new. So we had to hone a story in to let people know, like, hey, this is one of the smoothest whiskeys you'll ever taste. It's black owned. You know, if you're in Tennessee State grad, like, we tapped on every single heartstring, every connection, and that's not shameless. Like, that's what you have to do.
You do.
Every connection you never had.
Right. Mm-hmm. And what's so crazy about it is, like you said, if you don't know how it's tasting, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Am I going to risk buying this? What am I going to do? Let me just see. But I went to Tennessee State alumni, so
Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
It's black owned? Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Black Lives Matter, black owned.
All of it. Everything matter. My kids' tuition matter. You know what I'm saying? Gas in the tank matter. Mortgage matter. It all, yeah. But it was a learning curve.
Right.
And it was something that was totally unexpected. But guess what? Mm-hmm. The people behind us will be prepared.
Yes.
Because I bet that they didn't know that there's something called pandemic insurance.
Wow.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in those things, we didn't have that.
Yeah.
We learned about it.
Right. Because we hadn't had a pandemic.
I had some friends that took advantage of that.
Wow.
They had pandemic. Their insurance writer put it in the clause like 4 years ago. It was an extra 50.
4 years ago.
4 years ago. And it was an extra $100 a year.
Right.
When COVID shut down his restaurant, he got a check for $150,000.
Really? Because he had the pandemic insurance.
Remember we talked about knowing who to pay?
Right.
He paid the right person.
He sure did.
That was looking out for them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
These are some of the tools and things, man, are out there. We just have to have the knowledge, and then we have to execute them.
Wow.
So I'll go first.
Exactly.
And then we'll pass it down.
Absolutely. But knowledge is power. It really is.
Yeah.
It really is that we don't share that knowledge many times amongst each other, right?
Yeah, because we hustling.
Yeah.
So I get it. I mean, it's not. That's why I said the word intentional, because it's not gonna happen by osmosis, right? Because you got a job, you have a family, you have everything, you got aspirations of your own.
Right.
It takes time to go back and do this stuff. You got to put it in your schedule, just like if you put a haircut or a massage or whatever you put for self-care, you need to put in your schedule 1 hour a week.
Wow.
To either help somebody with a business plan, go check on one of your favorite business owners, let them know that you care. Like that, you need to put that in your schedule, and that's the way it'll be, because that's intentional.
Right.
It'll get done that way.
Exactly.
If not, we'll always be too busy.
Man, always.
Until we write a book and we want somebody to buy it. We ain't busy then.
We're not busy then. No. Let's do this. What would you like to leave with the viewers? Just look into this camera.
I would like to leave with the viewers, definitely continue to support the Cam Hill Show. This is such an important show. He has taken it upon himself to tell our stories. And that's one of the best ways to get the word out about everything. I didn't want to take this last few minutes and talk about me. I wanted to talk about this man right here.
Wow.
Thank you.
I appreciate it for everything. First of all, I want to say I appreciate what you've done for all of us, right? Everything that you have just dedicated your life over these years have helped us, because each time, and even me reading your story, I know that. I know you to be true. When you say, I'm pulling someone else. I don't want people to go do what I did, the mistakes that I make, that I steal things. People still say no.
Exactly.
Through success. Why are you successful now? You're still getting turned down for some things many times, and we need to know that, right? Yeah. Every day is a learning experience. Every day is a change, but I appreciate you for continuing, because had you not broken the ceiling, many people wouldn't have been able to open that door. Thanks a lot for that.
Hey, brother, I appreciate you, man.
Talk to you. Yeah.
My brother.
There you go. The Cam Hill Show, 12:31, 30 Central Standard Time. See you then. Bye.